welcome to another edition of Believers Talk with Joe and Steve. We are your hosts. I'm Joe.
I'm Steve.
And we are here today to talk to you about the Colts and Jets trade and the possible effect that will have on our Bills come draft day.
Yeah. So the Jets, they end up trading to the number 3 overall pick with the Colts.
Yep.
And to get that number 3 overall pick, they had to give up the 6th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Their 2 second-rounders this year would be 37 and 49, and they gave up a second-rounder next year.
Okay.
So that's a hefty price to move up 3.
Yeah, only 3 spots. If you're a Bills fan, you think that sounds good, but remember, we'd move up 9 spots to get that.
Yeah.
And that's just to move up 3 spots. So yeah. So what are the effects then that will have on our Bills come draft day? What do you think?
Well, I thought the Colts were one of the trade partners. Obviously, out of the top 5 picks, you would have the Giants at number 2,
Yeah.
Colts who now become the Jets at 3,
Yeah.
and the Browns at 4.
Right.
So any of those picks I thought we could trade into.
Sure.
Now it looks like one of those options is closed
Mm-hmm.
at the number 3 pick because I can't believe the Jets would trade that then.
Yeah, right.
It would be kind of dumb of them.
Exactly.
So now it gives us the option if we want to get the quarterback we want to go to number 2. So now we have to pay more of a price to get to 2 instead of maybe we could have sat at 12.
Right.
And as his draft unfolded, we could have jumped up to 7, 8,
Right.
and still got the guy we wanted. That can still happen.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's going to happen, but it looks like it might be quarterbacks the first 3 picks. So now you're missing out on the top 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, with the Jets moving up here, we're kind of confident that we know what they want out of this 3rd pick, right? Especially doing it this early. Again, it's getting more and more less rare, but it's rare to kind of see this early before the draft, just because you kind of don't want to show your hand before.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about, now it gives the team a chance to now jump them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
we were talking off camera about this a little bit, and he said about the Bills kind of should have made a move to do that. And I was thinking to myself, well, the Bills shouldn't really make that move because what I was hoping for them to do would do it on draft day.
Yeah.
That way they know who's going to be there, what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can trade up. And who's not to say if during draft day they were trying to get the 3rd spot and they couldn't, but Rosen, Allen, Mayfield, whoever they want would just keep falling, then they could sit back or move up, a few spots and wouldn't cost them as much. Now, the other thing too is if Buffalo would have jumped to the 3 spot just like the Jets did, there's other teams that can come in and trade ahead of them. So for the Jets, yes, it's nice. You put yourself in a position, but you're looking at getting your 3rd quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe it's their first one that they have on their ranked, but they're looking at possibly getting the 3rd best player in the draft, and you have a chance of another team trading up ahead of you
and taking your guy. I was actually listening on the radio when this trade happened, and they were talking about how now Cleveland, there was a touchy spot there where you're like, oh, well, Saquon Barkley won't be there at 4. Well, now he might be because we're going quarterback. So instead of taking Barkley 1, then all of a sudden now Cleveland's taking the quarterback at 1. Whoever is going to trade with the Giants, or maybe even the Giants, take a quarterback at 2. So you're looking at 3 quarterbacks in the first 3 spots, basically.
And what I'm thinking too is with the Giants being the number 2 overall pick, and they're trying to build the win now.
Yeah.
Okay. So when are you going to get that high again? You're almost better taking your quarterback in this draft.
Absolutely.
And letting him sit a year or 2 behind Eli and then moving on. So then you just kind of keep in stride and can go. You don't have to worry about developing another quarterback. You already developed for 2 years.
Right.
So that would be in the Giants' best case scenario, I think. Same thing with the Jets. They're trading up now. They have 4 quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah.
So if they take a quarterback, which I think we're pretty sure they're taking a quarterback, they can develop him for a year and then let him go out after that.
Yeah, as Bills fans, I think we would love to be optimistic and say they trade up to 3 for like Chubb, right? Like they'll go get Chubb and everything's fine, we're overreacting. And that would be awesome, but it just doesn't look that way. You normally don't jump from 6 to 3 for a defensive end or for any other position really other than quarterback. So it'll just be interesting to see. Again, more draft day fun, right? We're gonna have so much fun on draft day talking about this kind of stuff.
The other thing too I thought about was at the number 2 overall pick with the Giants.
Yeah.
Did the Jets try to trade for the 2nd overall pick? And here's the other thing. With the Giants GM, Gettleman, being so close to Bean.
Yeah.
Do we already have a deal worked out for
maybe,
number 2?
Sure. Yeah,
so
very possible.
Like that's what I mean. Like maybe the Jets were trying to get the second overall pick and they couldn't do it.
Yep.
And there's already kind of an agreement between the Bills and the Giants that we have that pick.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be traded until the end, and they already came to compensation for it.
Right.
But I mean, that's just speculation. That's me kind of hoping.
Right. Absolutely.
The other thing too is for them to do that. We talked about it when they made the trade for Cordy Glenn.
Yeah.
Kind of what I saw was a tweet out there of what would be an equal trade to get up to the number 2 compared to what
the Jets
just did to the Colts. Would be the Bills would have to give up both first rounders this year. That'd be number 12 and number 22 overall. They'd have to give up their 53rd overall pick. That's their second round. And then they'd have to give up a second rounder next year. And we have plenty of draft ammunition to even give more if we want to do that.
Absolutely.
So I'm fine with that because then we have a chance to get the guy. But the more I think about this is maybe now with Preston Brown leaving, there's not too much middle linebackers out there as far as help. I know we do have Will Compton coming in.
Yeah.
Not sure if he'll play inside or outside, but maybe we get a defensive player. Maybe a Raekwon Smith or something there at 12 and stay at 22 now and get Mason Rudolph or Kyle Laletta.
Yeah,
those are the two possibilities that we either going to trade up and get a quarterback or we're going to sit back and get one of those two guys. I think.
Yeah, the benefit of sitting back is, I mean, again, we have 6 picks in the top 100. That's awesome. I mean, the teams would love that. So even if we don't trade up, which I still think is a good possibility that we trade up, but even if we don't trade up, to think about all those picks that we do have is nice. I also think about the Giants and. I think like they know what's going on in the NFL. So they know, oh, well, if we trade up with the Jets, this is what we'll get. But if the Jets trade with the Colts, then all of a sudden teams like the Bills will be knocking on our door and we'll get 2 first-round draft picks instead too. So there's a lot of like different scenarios.
Yeah, the other thing too is it came out that the Colts had other offers.
Right.
But they wanted to stay within that top 10 range.
Yeah.
Well, Buffalo's out of that top 10
right.
range. Yes, they would have got 2 first-round picks, but they would have to drop from 3 to 12, and some teams just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why from them to move from 21 to 12, that was a big step.
Absolutely.
And there might be another step in there, and then they finally get to where they want to be. But I thought some things would ramp up here in the next week or two when they go for the owners meetings in Orlando.
Yeah.
That's where I thought the trade speculations would really ramp up. But I kind of like now we'll just have to sit and wait. I don't want to make trade now and be out of it. I think they should just sit and wait till the draft and kind of figure out what to do there.
Yeah, you might as well wait at this point. I mean, there's no point in hurrying up to do anything. We're pretty sure Cleveland's keeping the number 1 overall pick, right? And so there's really no point in trying to trade up. Just very interesting stuff around the league. There was a point I was going to make, but forgot about it. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Like with Cleveland, we're talking about they're going to take their first pick.
Yeah.
So you're down to the Giants, and maybe you kind of push the Giants' hand a little bit. Like you talk, I'm sure they had talks before about what it would take and where they're kind of at, and they probably both are okay. This is what we need to do to finish this trade off. But they can sit there and at the last second or a few minutes into the pick, they can say, okay, well, if you're going to take a quarterback, then take your quarterback, or if you want to take your pick. But here's what we can offer you, and kind of force their hand a little bit and see what they want to do. And then you get the 3 and see what the Jets take. And then, 4, Cleveland already took their quarterback.
Right.
They're looking to get more ammunition. You can trade up to 4.
Or maybe 5 even.
Yeah, 5 would be Denver.
Yep.
They did sign Case Keenum, but they do need a long-term solution there.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of possibilities. Well, I was going to say, I remember now, out of the top 4 quarterbacks, I believe only 1 has had their pro day. Is that correct?
No, Baker Mayfield did have his. Josh Allen, I believe, had his, and yesterday was Josh Rosen. So that's what kind of
brought all this on.
Yeah.
I only heard about Mayfield, so I was thinking maybe that's who the Jets were going after.
Yeah.
But
Rosen's was yesterday, and the trade happened, so that could be a telling point that they like Rosen.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't know. How about, we have some Jets fans watching, I'm sure. So Jets fans, let us know, who do you want in the draft with the number 3 overall pick? Because hopefully it's not our guy. Even though I think we both agree, if we got Mayfield or Rosen, I think we'd be satisfied. But we still trust in Bean and McDermott to do the right thing here. So.
Yeah, I don't, I saw on Twitter some people be like, oh yeah, he's doing great. He's getting us in position. Then they're upset that he didn't trade up so far. Like, okay, but now if you're sitting at 3 and you allow another team to jump you, you're going to bash him for, well, you spent all that those
capital
and capital, all that to get to 3, and somebody already jumped you. So now we had the chance to make the final decision whether we want to go up and get it, or if they feel more comfortable sitting back and taking Mason Rudolph, Kyle Arletta, or whoever it is. That's fine. Then you have all that extra draft capital.
Yeah, and in our video with AJ McCarron, which we'll talk about here, a lot of people talk about how he's a steal, and I love that. You know, I mean, who knows?
That's the other thing. Maybe he is going to be the answer.
Yeah, maybe,
because we're kind of writing him off as the backup.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'll have a chance, but we really thought we were getting our guy.
Yeah.
So if we don't, then we can ride with AJ McCarron for a year
and
happens. Develop another guy behind him.
Exactly.
Who's not to say he can't be the answer? We just have to sit and wait, and kind of what the Bills have been doing most of the offseason here a little bit with the free agency and with the trades here. They got to they waited to trade Tyrod till just about the last minute. Same thing with Cordy Glenn. And they got what they wanted. So there's no reason to panic right now.
No.
It was a trade that the Jets wanted to make, and they did. They dealt their hand out now.
Exactly.
So we still have another month or so to figure out exactly what we want to do, and there's no reason to panic. We'll just ride out the wave.
That's right. That's right. Everyone just needs to relax a little bit. And like Bean says, press conference yesterday, there are going to be players at 12, even if we stay at 12, that we would not have gotten at 21. And, that's a benefit to us as well, especially now with teams moving up, getting these quarterbacks. There's going to be good players that fall back in the draft, and so we'll see what happens.
The other thing too is, yes, they could have tried to make the trade for 3, but you have to have a team willing to take that trade.
Exactly.
So they could have offered what they thought was fair price. Like we said, the Jets had the 6th overall pick compared to the 12th overall pick. That's a big difference. So just because you don't see the Bills making a trade up now doesn't mean they're not trying. So that's something just to keep an eye on. I mean, it'll be a fun draft day.
It will be. It will. And that's another great thing, and we've said this multiple times, but this is with picks instead of players. It's good if they're trading, it's good for McDermott and Bean to say, no, this is our price. This is what we're going to give you. We're not going to chase. We're not going to give you more than what we think it's worth. So even if they are trying to trade up, be patient with them. Because like Steve said, we still have a month yet. So we got plenty of time.
Well, and Bean also in his press conference said, the reason why Minnesota was able to go out and sign Kirk Cousins to the big deal is because they felt like they were one piece away. They were that quarterback piece away. The Bills do have holes.
Absolutely.
We've went over it. And all you Bills fans probably know, and losing players, and you got to re-sign them, and all this. But we do have holes, so maybe we don't get the quarterback this year that everybody thinks we're going to get. We'll get one, but it might not be the top 1 or 2. And with this quarterback class, a lot of them, the top 4 or 5 are rated very closely. So it won't be as bad as we think.
It's a very deep QB class on top. So it's kind of like, there's no telling if Mason Rudolph won't have a better NFL pro career than one of these top 4 guys. And we'll see. And to be honest, and I know neither of us really like him, Lamar Jackson could be the best quarterback out of this draft class. And maybe McDermott and Bean see something in him, and they'll draft him. On draft day, I don't think we'll be very happy about it, but if he leads us to a couple Super Bowls, we'll change our mind. But that's it. The Jets trade with the Colts for the 3rd overall pick. Affects the Bills a little bit, but I'm sure we'll be okay. So unless you had something else you wanted to add, if you like this content, we will keep bringing it. Anything Bills related, whether it be draft picks that aren't even included with us, right? Like this doesn't affect us immediately, but it does have an effect on us. But we'll continue to cover it. Things around the NFL that might be important to us and just might be important to their teams. So please subscribe to the channel, like or dislike this video, and leave a comment or two, and we'll be happy to get back to you. Until next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.